And on the 6th day, I rested with my mildly sprained ankle. Nothing bad, but I don't want it to get worse. So I'd planned a day off after 100 kilometers, and here we are. We were talking the other day, I think just yesterday morning, but the days roll into one, to be honest. We were talking about changing your okay to thank you. And this is only a very, very minor little example of that. There's a nice pot in the window there. Vase. Having made a little video about treading carefully in the snow and the mud and on the pebbles, I then managed to turn my ankle, and probably while making the video, and was seriously slowed down, and it could have ended my Camino, but it's not that bad. I put a towel with ice cubes on it when I got to my room. I've rented a room for 2 days. I'm going to have a day's rest in this pretty town in Spain. But I could have been despondent about my ankle, but because it could have stopped me completing my Camino this time anyway. But I actually did. I don't want to sound too pompous or whatever. I actually did say not okay, but thank you. And I've had a good night's rest. I went to the pharmacia for some long, strong bandages and an ankle support, and she measured me up. And then I said, now I just need a cafe that's open. And it turns out there is only one in this town, and I would never have found it. So I know it's a bit of a stretch to say thank you for everything, including a very mildly strained ankle. But that's how it seems to me. Who knows? What do I know? I know nothing. And here is the local church. A bit austere, if you ask me. That's very angular, very masculine, don't you think? Very 80s jacket, shoulders. Oof. Olive trees, I think they're olive trees, fully grown, going up, but not the sort of Dios that I would like to rub shoulders with, eh? Do you get a choice as to what God is like? Really? I mean, oh dear. I am stopping using the G word. I just have, but for convenience, but I've stopped using it because as soon as you say the G word, it means whatever the speaker or the person you're having a conversation with means. And that's definitely not what I mean anymore, that's for sure. It might be worth exploring this G word, the G spot here outside the grand masculine church. We use God in spiritual conversations and day to day, in sex. Oh God. Or if you're drowning, not waving. Oh God. It's a sort of universal appeal to something other, isn't it? Both the transcendent and sort of the lifeline in times of trouble. I'm sure if I was both a Ukrainian soldier, male or female, in the front lines against Russian soldiers, male or female, right now, and they're bombing the shit out of each other, both sides would say El Dios in their appropriate language, wouldn't they? And so would I, and so would you. So it seems to me a universal genuflect to the some higher being to help us, to protect us, to enfold us when we die, perhaps. But where do these ideas come from of God? Perhaps, of course, when we were young, if we grew up with religious families, perhaps from school days, and of course these days I'm swapping hands. These days we've got unfettered access on YouTube and the media. Pick your God, basically. And you have done, haven't you? Yes, like I have. No longer the man with the beard in the sky, so to speak. That's a very early characterization, but pretty much disrobed myself of any concepts that have some human figurine is problematic to me. When I think the clue is early on in Genesis, when the writer says we are made in the image of God. Look at this. Sorry, I know it's broken. This Shanks's homily broken again, but look at this place. I could live here, couldn't you? The cats think so. I'm going to sit down and stop rambling a bit. But it's so interesting here. Oh dear, my dears. Yes, no longer is God made in my image, or man's image, or the image of man. When we say we are made in God's image, to me that can't possibly mean personal characteristics, for example, like cheerfulness or miserableness even. It can't possibly mean any of the purely human attributes of even kindness, I would say, let alone less virtuous aspects of a human personality. No, I don't think to be made in the image of God means that. It's and just jumping ahead to the end, I honestly wouldn't thank you. I might have got this all wrong. I wouldn't thank you if there was such a thing over on the other side called heaven and I scraped in. Then I'd be really disappointed to have a body and a personality, because they are quite simply useful accessories for this cruise we call life. But your true nature, my true nature, is not wrapped in a physical shell of skin and bone, like Saint Columbus's coracle. No, I wouldn't thank you if I had to endure eternity with some of the folks that I'd recognise there, or they might recognise me. No, we can do better than that, can't we? That's a very human, anthropic. What's the word where you project something human onto the divine? Idolatry. That's what it's called. don't make idols out of what is simply familiar to the human. Who knows the extent of the cosmos, the extent of the universe? Are there multiverses? Are there other species of intelligent life? It doesn't trouble me at all. In fact, it excites me. I can tell you it excites me. Why wouldn't a God have such an open, expansive, creative spirit? If he had a bag of multicoloured plasticine, he or she would definitely make up different figures. I think you'll agree. So, if you talk to me about the G word, I have no idea what you are meaning by that, and I would suspect it was hugely constrained, one might say contaminated, by cultural ideas and things that have been passed on to you. Now, so where do we go from there? What is my idea of God? What is my G word? Well, what does it mean to be made in the image of God? For me, surely this is about essential characteristics. Well, I'm not claiming to be all-knowing. Oh dear. I can't even remember to pick up my passport from the reception when I arrived here last night. Oh dear, certainly not all-knowing. But sharing that favourite mantra I use in the morning, I've used it this morning already, be still and know that I am God. What is that knowing of God? I think this is the crux of what it means to be made in the image of God. Let's call it pure knowing. Rupert Spira would be proud of me. Yes, that's an aspect of God, pure knowing. We might be an impure sort of bargain basement version of it, but we have that same capacity of knowing. We have that same capacity of, dare I say, divine consciousness. Again, in my morning chat to myself, in my meditation Kickstarter, my Vespa manual kickstart scooter meditation in the morning, I use the phrase, so at the end of my meditation warm-up exercises, I say, the place you are looking for is the place you are looking from. And then I say, what you are looking for is what is looking. And I've meditated on this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And it seems to me this is what being made in the image of God, you and I both, by the way, is all about. It's that reflexive component. What you are looking for is what is looking. And at any time, you can observe your feelings and sensations through your senses. Your mind makes sense of them, so we are sentient beings. That's at one level, with a body, so physics and physiology and biology kick in. And then there are thoughts about these things, mentation, like a sort of digestive system that goes on. But if you notice, and I'm sure you have, you can observe your thoughts. Like I could observe my thoughts yesterday. I wished I'd got to the end of this walk and was in a bar now. But the one who was observing that is completely unperturbed, untroubled. Now, I suspect, I can't prove it yet, I think I'm on the trail. I suspect this this anonymous one, it's not a Phil one, which various traditions call the witness or the observer, capital O of course, or the man on the hill even, sort of the benign Obi-Wan Kenobi, sitting blissfully half lotus, palms crossed, in a state of bliss and a state of knowing. And insofar as we do share in the image of God, it seems to me that that background hum, so to speak, of knowing is nothing other than the divine, dare I say, humming away and preceding all thoughts about such things. What you are looking for is what is looking. He is looking at you. Listen to the birds. Is this not the prettiest village in all of Spain, possibly in all of Europe, possibly all of the world? And I am staying in a habitaciones. I've got a room to myself and a room with a view over this bridge, this Roman bridge, over the river, in a place called El Palacio. Well, isn't life wonderful?